Evening, everyone. Just kind of jumping in to give a quick update on our NASCAR for Beginner series. We are creeping up. We have now officially reached race week. So we start off this week with the Clash, which is a non-points paying race. We'll get into this in a second. So hope everybody has watched some of the previous ones and got a chance to set up their fan rewards apps and stuff like that. Any questions, you can always reach out, drop me a line, whatever you need to do. Comment on one of the previous videos. I'll come in and respond to it as quick as I see them. We will be doing another episode. We're probably going to do this every Monday. Moving forward, we'll do a quick little recap of the previous weekend's race, and then moving forward, we'll preview the upcoming race. Give all the detail stats, where to watch it, what time to watch it, things like that, drivers to watch. So we'll kind of start on that after the Super Bowl. Next week, we'll probably take off because nothing really going on racing-wise that week. Crank it back up the following Monday after the Super Bowl. So we'll get into this week's little topic, which it's called the Clash. And it's like I said, it's a non-points paying event. It's just kind of a way to kick off the season. Kind of like, think of it like a preseason or spring training MLB game or preseason football game, things like that. Just kind of a way to get the juices flowing and get moving and going. I'm curious on this one because I'm getting updates that there could be another winter storm moving up the East Coast this coming weekend. And the Clash is in North Carolina, so I'm kind of going to keep an eye on that. It could be something that gets canceled just because it's not a points-paying race. But we're going to see what they do. They've been known to move it later in the week, earlier in the, they'll move it around if they need to. Normally with of course the approval of the TV partners. So that's what we're doing. We're doing the Clash. What is the Clash? Like I said, it's a non-points paying race. It's just a matter of way to get the season started. It is kind of one of the more fun events because there's no really anything bad that comes out of it. It's kind of just to get everybody going again. Nobody takes it. I mean, they take it serious because they all want to win. It's a trophy. They want to win every trophy they can, but they don't, if you get wrecked or something, or somebody bumps you out of the way, you don't get as mad as you would during the regular season. When is it and where is it? Well, it's 2 different days. It's Saturday, is the 31st, is going to be practice and qualifying and the heat races. And we'll get more into that here in a second. The Saturday events will be on FS1. And if you bear with me, I'm going to get you the times for that. But that'll be on FS1 starting around 6 o'clock Eastern time. And then, of course, the main event would be Sunday, February 1st, and it will begin. The coverage for the main event is 8 p.m., but there'll be a race before that at 6 p.m. And we'll tell you what that race is here in just a second, too. So the next one is people always want to know, how does it work different than any other race, things like that. Well, this is not a full race. This is not most Cup car races, NASCAR Cup Series, have 36 cars in them. Some you'll notice will have 38. Sometimes it'll be 41. It just varies on what the race is. I think Daytona normally has 41 or 42. So this one's a little different, as it's only 23 people get to race in it now. I did mention it was at Bowman Gray. which is a very, 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 very short track. Tons of chaos, kind of a weird configuration. Call it the Madhouse. If you look up the documentary, The Madhouse, you'll see why they call it the Madhouse. It's known for numerous fights. There's videos out there with dads and daughters fighting dads and sons. It's crazy. But the format for it is you're going to have practice and qualifying on Saturday, and then they'll turn around and run heat races Saturday, and then they'll turn around and on Sunday they'll run the last chance qualifiers, and then of course the main event will be run. So that's how the format works, and the times and the channels to watch it on. If I think I mentioned it that it was on Fox. The original Fox is the Sunday. FS1 is Saturday. How do the heat races work? Okay, well, before you get to the heat races, I mentioned practice and qualifying. So practice and qualifying will be split up into groups. Practice will go on. It's, just get out there and run for some laps. I think it's timed. Sometimes they trip it, they move it around and stuff. But they do practice. And what they do with practice is there'll be 3 different groups that'll go out and then in the third session, they each get 3 sessions. In the third session, every group, whoever is the fastest in that group, that'll set the lineups for the heat races. So let's say the fastest person in practice is me, then I'm first on the first heat race. And we've got a couple of people y'all have seen on here before. Let's say Moss or whatever, some of the other people up here. Moss, he comes in second fastest in practice. Well, he starts the first on the second heat race. And let's say my buddy Doug, he finishes, he has the third fastest time in practice. He now starts first on the third heat race. And then the fourth person, fastest time, fourth heat race. And then it just kind of cycles back through where like 5th place will be second place in the first heat race. 6th place will be second place in the second heat race. And you work your way down the list till all the positions are filled. Now, there'll be 36 cars doing the practice and qualifying, at least 36, sometimes 38, try, whatever. Those will try for the heat races. So after practice and the lineups are all set, then they start the heat races. And when the heat races start, then you'll take the first heat race, and it's a 25-lap sprint. There's no other way to put it. They're really fast, really fun, really high drama, lots going on. And out of that first heat race, the top 5 will advance. Of course, all 4 heat races. The top 5 in each heat race automatically advance to the main event on Sunday. And that'll also, we'll get into how that's set, because it'll set your lineup for the races by this too. But you move on from that. That's the heat races and how they're going to work. So, pretty much practice, and you got the top 5 are locked in. So then you'll say, well, what happens to the other people that aren't in the top 5? Well, those people who don't, from 6 through say 12, those people go to Sunday, which is at 6 p.m. on Fox, the last chance qualifier. You'll hear it mentioned as an LCQ. And that's your last chance to qualify. So that race is a little longer. That's a 75-lap race. But only the top 2 qualify from that race. So first and second are the only ones that advance to the main event. So you really, your goal is to be in the top 5 in your heat. But if not, you still got one more chance to make it. And in some cases, 2 more chances, because there's one extra wild card position that I'll explain here in a minute. So that's what happens to those not in the top 5 in their heat. So then the lineup will be set based on the heat races. So the winner of heat race 1 will start first. The winner of heat race 2 will start second. And this is in the main event. The winner of 3 and the winner of 4 will make up the first 2 rows, pole position, second, third, and fourth. And then they'll fill in from there. Second place in heat 1 will be the 5th place person. Second place in heat 2 will be the 6th place person. And it'll walk it through in order, all the way down through the top 20. So then the final 2 places will be number 21 and 22. There's 23 cars that start, that are able to make the qualifier. So you got the first 20 in with the heat races. Now you got the next 2 in through that last chance qualifier. So there's still 1 spot left, and that's what I mentioned as the wild card. What that is whoever was the highest in the 2025 point standings at the end of the year that is not already qualified for the event is in. They automatically get a wild card and they start 23rd, last car in. Last year, for an example, Ryan Blaney was first in points, but didn't make, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, but he didn't make the main event through his heat races or the last chance qualifier. But because he finished this previous season in first place in points, he was already guaranteed a spot. So he didn't really matter. I mean, he could have gone out there and just not even tried in the first heat races or whatever, and he was still going to be in. He had a guaranteed spot. So if you're a driver that finished like 9th or 10th in the point standings last year and you have a rough go, you're hoping that the top people in front of you all qualify, because then you're the first one, you're guaranteed a spot at that point. So Fox will do a really good job explaining how it all works. Probably better than I do. I try my best, but this is a lot different than any other event NASCAR runs, just because the only thing that's somewhat similar to it is the All-Star race, which is normally in the middle of the year. We'll get into that later, of course. But the Clash is just something that's totally different. It is a very short track. Like I said, 25 laps will go by extremely fast. They normally run those 25 lap heat races in probably about 10 minutes. But that's different because it can vary because they don't count yellow flags. So if somebody wrecks or spins out, they're going to throw a caution, but the lap count stops. Only laps that count in this whole event are the green flag laps, which is totally different than anything else NASCAR does. So then you go on and you've got your lineup set. Everybody's in place, and we roll into Saturday or Sunday night under the lights at Bowman Gray Stadium, and you begin what is called the Clash. A couple of years ago, it was in Los Angeles at the Coliseum out there. It was called the Clash at the Coliseum, simply just known as the Clash now. It used to be at Daytona Speedway. It's called the Clash. That's just the Clash. Some people, I was going to name this broadcast NASCAR for Beginners Part 9, the Clash, but I thought that it might confuse some people if they didn't read the whole thing and be looking for either Rock the Casbah or Should I Stay or Should I Go, or a breakdown of some the British pop rock group, the Clash, and I didn't want to confuse people, so we'll just leave it with NASCAR. The main event, though, when it kicks off, is 200 laps. It's really 2 races of 100 laps. They race for 100 laps, and then there's a mandatory time to break. Gives kind of everybody a chance to go back, change tires, make some adjustments to your car, get a drink if you're the driver, stuff like that, because you're going to have no time. Even if you have a water bottle in your car, you're not going to have time to take a drink on that short of a track with 22 other cars on the track. So it's still the same way, though. Only green flag events count. You can't have a caution with 1 lap to go. If you do, they will crank up and they'll run 1 lap And if there's a wreck on that lap, they'll roll them up and do it again until they finish under green. So it's it's a pretty interesting little race. Like I said, it's a good race to watch. There's not really much else going on a Sunday night right now with the Super Bowl. That's kind of why NASCAR does it. They kind of bookend the Super Bowl with the Clash the weekend before, and then of course Daytona the weekend after. So they kind of bookend the Super Bowl because there's really not a lot else going on Sunday night, minus maybe NBA or something like that. But they'll have a pretty good audience that can tune in for people that want to check out something different, something you're not used to seeing, something that might just pique your interest. I know I've mentioned before, a lot of people like F1 and Indy cars and stuff, and this is just totally different. But those cars don't normally get near each other, and normally your winning margin is huge in those races. Not so much in NASCAR. You have beating and banging and bumping, and you have sometimes races that are decided by thousandths of a second, photo finishes, still for everything is used to determine who crossed the start finish line first. So kind of where we're at with the Clash. It's a little shorter episode because the Clash is a much shorter race. There's not really much to get into more than what we did. Fun event. I'd encourage you, if you're not doing anything else Sunday night, just tune in and kind of check it out. The Madhouse is a crazy place to watch a race. Some of the stands are literally like 2 feet from the racetrack. It's pretty crazy. So I'd suggest tuning in. If you want to check out something a little different you've never seen, check it out. Check out the documentary. Pretty sure it's on one of the streaming services called The Madhouse. You can also watch on, I think for people that may not have cable or a way to watch Fox, I think if you have a smart TV, a Roku, I know on Roku's channel list, their live Roku channel, they do broadcast the NASCAR channel, and so does Tubi. And they're free on there. You can watch them for free. And they're actually going to, I believe, broadcast everything from Bowman Gray this year. So if you don't have cable and you still want to watch, you should be able to watch through one of those two. I'm going to go verify that, and I may do a quick edit follow up on this just to verify. But I know last year they did, and I'm almost positive I saw it, that they're going to be broadcasting it all on the NASCAR channel. I'll double check on that and let everybody know. So other than that, well, let me see. It looks like I might have it right here. So give me 1 second. Let's see. That's Friday. That's Saturday. Well, it shows FS1. Let me see. Sunday shows just Fox, and Sunday shows Fox. So I'll do some digging on that, and then I'll jump on and do a quick little live, probably Wednesday, or as soon as I find out what's going on. Plus, I'll follow up and I'll put another post out, another little short 5-minute video with just seeing if they're going to race based on the weather patterns and stuff. So just, keep tuned into the channel. You'll see all of our channels that we run. We have numerous guys running different stuff. You got WTP for Life. You got Level Up Sports 10. You got Parlay Poe, who runs the Blitzburg podcast. You got Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast. You got City League TV, which is, on Facebook and YouTube. I believe both of them do a lot of local stuff, local sports. You got One Take Zaya down there. He's getting cranked back up again. He rebranded. He used to be FanDuel Zay. So check him out. And, I'm SEC Sean. I'm on there with a bunch of different topics as well. We all get on there. We'll be live. We go live. Somebody's live almost every night. Somebody's doing something, whether it's a 20-minute little short like this, whether it's a 2-hour or hour and 50-minute discussion about all kinds of stuff. So be sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you'll know when we're all going live. And Other than that, everybody try to stay warm. It's brutally cold out there, up here in Columbus especially. It's brutal cold up here. And so y'all try to stay warm, stay safe, and we'll catch up. As soon as I got updates, you'll see me back on. Peace.